This had nothing to do with the pandemic at all. But the pandemic came and gave us a new light to look at things.
That the air carriers didn't really have well-designed processes. Was there something wrong with the processes, or is it something else afoot, and is this going to change?
But this problem that we have in the industry, and this problem that we're claiming that has actually been to lack of processes or processes that were not clear enough by the airlines or whatever, this problem, it's not new. This problem has always been there. We've always faced a challenge of temperature controlled product coming through airports or coming through the agents building or coming through to the airlines. It's not something new, whether it was a vaccine that was, that was transported by a known company, or whether it was just medicine that required a certain temperature, or forget even medicine. Let's go for something that's, requires a temperature control, meat or any perishables that come like that. They're all of these things were facing the same challenge. Pre-pandemic, this had nothing to do with the pandemic at all. But the pandemic came and gave us a new light to look at things and to take it even more seriously. Because, who cares if, a few 100 kilos of chocolate sitting on the tarmac and then they just melt. So who cares? Basically, someone has to pay for it at the end. But when it came to vaccine and when it came to something that's actually a lot more life-threatening, it became very important for us to now pay attention to these things. We have, in my company, we have developed something called, temperature tracking for vaccine tracking. This is something that had to be done because we understood and we understand from the industry, and being in the industry for such a long time, we understand that there are people who will take shortcuts. There are people who were underbid to get the contract, but then they don't completely fulfill the requirements of that. And then yet, immediately the blame is shifted to somebody else because the truck driver decided to take this little vaccine box, put it inside in the cockpit rather than in the back where the temperature had to be controlled to a certain degree, whether it goes up or down, it could be deadly. Decided to put it inside and said, why should I spend all that gas or that diesel on making sure the temperature control stays the same? This is the problem that we face. GDP certification, it exists everywhere. All of the warehouses for the freight forwarders have GDP certification. Some even have both CEIV and GDP because they like to be IATA compliant. Airlines, I know for a fact that Etihad and Emirates and other airlines like National as well, they have they have the certifications to carry these kind of things, to carry this medicine. But it's easy, and we're always ready to shift the blame to somebody else. Now, where is the problem? The problem, here's my curveball. The problem is actually in the operators themselves, the people who are driving this cargo. I'm not saying it could be anybody in the supply chain. It could be anyone. It could be the shipper. It could be the freight forwarder, it could be the ground handler, and it's always easy to blame the airline. And it could possibly be the airport infrastructures are not there, the facilities are not available, the infrastructure is not available in certain cases, but it's always easy to blame someone there. So this is just my take on this, and I hope that we actually look at ourselves first to see what am I doing to actually meet the challenges, to make sure that I am compliant of what is required before I say, I've done my thing and then let's move on to something else. I hope I didn't offend anyone by this, but this is just my curveball. Yeah.